You are tuning in to the Atlanta Realtors Rundown, the official podcast for the Atlanta Realtors. We're here to keep you updated with the latest trends, topics, and keep you in the know of our ever-changing Atlanta market. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Atlanta Realtors Rundown. I'm Matt Lamarche, your host for today's episode. I am so excited and well prepared for today's episode with Miss Keri Smith, who works in the home warranty world, which we have not talked really a ton with our other vendors around the real estate industry. But I think there's going to be a ton of great information shared today by Keri, who's an awesome human being, but also is really, really good at what she does in a lot of different facets. But without further ado, Keri, did I miss anything? Do you want to give us the Reader's Digest version of who is Keri Smith?
Cliff Notes version is
Sure, we'll take it.
Keri Smith, and yes, I work with Choice Home Warranty, and I've been in the warranty business for now about 8.5, almost 9 years, and before that was a realtor for 11.
Which is interesting because I feel like that gives you really good perspective for what real estate agents do every day, but also what their challenges are.
Sure. I've been on both sides of the fence, per se.
Right.
So working with buyers and sellers with home warranty, negotiated back yesteryear in a total different market. But then, as far as on this side of the fence of going out and coaching agents, working with home buyers, helping educate them regarding policy, home warranty, period.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, so the reason I think too, it's powerful to have our affiliates in here and our partners that are working, literally side by side throughout a real estate transaction is, this podcast is really designed to help two groups of people. The first is our association members, realtors out there, right? And if you're coming from another association, we also welcome you as well. So don't feel like you have to be a member here, but also consumers. And so, let's talk a little bit about the real estate side of things. So obviously your experience as a real estate agent was, I've got to believe, positioned you much better to be in the position that you're in, but you also have a deeper understanding of what agents are going through, also how to leverage home warranty and make it something that can make or break a transaction in some cases, but also make things, especially in a shifting market that we're in now, a little more palatable for both parties. Am I wrong? Is using a home warranty always a win-win-win, or are there instances where it just doesn't make sense?
Well, I'll touch upon the very first thing that you said. This industry is all about teamwork, whether it be co-oping agents, broker, agent, different offices, vendors, partners. We're all in this together. Mm-hmm. And so as far as with it being helpful within the industry of knowing that, per se, the vendor, home warranty company, you have a local representative for specifically the company I work with, but there's many companies that do have local representatives that you can meet face to face. That's important in this business. So to have that direct contact with somebody within a company, bringing the team together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And I don't think we talk about that enough. I mean, between local lenders, local home warranty, local insurance, I find it very helpful to have someone's phone number. I don't know about you.
Absolutely. The society has gotten so techie and everything's an app or a button, but, let's take things back a notch and bring more personal experience. This is a relationship business that we're all in. Yeah. It's customer service. There's a lot of face-to-face contact, whether you being a realtor, meeting your clients face-to-face, but it's also important to know that somebody is there locally who can be reachable face-to-face. Heck, I'll give somebody my personal address as long as I don't get served restraining order, but I'm good with that. Come meet me face-to-face, because there is that disconnect, especially after the past 2 years of people becoming more comfortable behind a phone or behind an email or a text message, rather than bringing it personally back to meeting face-to-face.
Yeah, which I know you do a great job of, in-person networking with the association, as well as I follow you on social media, so I'm very well aware of.
Kind of like that rash you can never get rid of. Just I'm always there.
Well, where's your
bothering the tar out of you?
Where's your warranty gal? Is your MO, if you will, on not just the different areas and the different cities and counties all across Georgia that you're visiting, but the vast grouping of people that you're helping. which I think is genius, and it fits right into this next question because, for real estate agents, we're busy, so we're always being pulled in a million different directions. Especially if you're on social media, you're following a ton of different people and connected to a ton of. You're trying to create those meaningful relationships. But what I love the most about what you do and how you do it is that you're in person a lot, and we see your face a lot around here and around the events and stuff. But talk to us a little bit about the difference between social and in person, because I feel like you have really balanced those really, really well. But also, now when I hear someone talk about Keri Smith, I'm like, well, did you get connected in person or social or both? Because you never know.
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment, Matt. So thank you. I feel as though I think I'm like you guys where it's total chaos and nothing's organized, but time blocking is a big deal. I think with both of our businesses are very similar. I kind of know where to go find people. You as agents and realtors, you probably do know where to find them. You just take a long time to figure it out where to find them. And so we're very similar. So, time blocking as to what time is spent social media wise versus in person. Most people I can find during the business day. So I try to be face to face, social media wise at night in my jammies on the couch, kicking up, watching football or some sort of TV show because I can do that from my couch.
Right.
Now, as far as with me being older and not really getting the whole technology wave of stuff, you do have to try to keep up with it. And as the times are changing, I had to finally delete my MySpace, come on, and move into the TikTok world. But, it's keeping up. Trying to appeal to all the masses of letting them know where to find you. Yeah. And, I don't check social media throughout the day like I should because I am more face-to-face and I'm in meetings. But people still can reach me there. It just might be a response back at 9 o'clock at night versus, when they first shot me a message or something or tagged me or commented, whatever the proper lingo is with all that. But,
you got it all.
But as far as with, I never considered it that I have it very well balanced because I feel like you, where I'm burning the candle at both ends most of the time. But yeah.
Well, I think the point there, though, too, is that there is no such thing as perfection between the balance, right? Like it's different for everyone. And there are some weeks and days that go by that I'm like, I could have done more with social or I could have done more in person. But something else was a priority. And I think what you said is so important, and I hope that doesn't get missed by people that, to your point earlier, the missing link here, I think, is the face-to-face. Like 2.5 years of pandemic will do that to you.
But you did an amazing job on Clubhouse, with people who weren't face-to-face, you couldn't get face-to-face, things were shut down. You did an amazing job with connecting with people through the Clubhouse app and the relationships that you had gained. And you kind of reinvented yourself through that. And that's what I think we all need to do is when times just like this market, and I'm using air quotes right now, shifting or changing or cooling off, you have to reinvent yourself. And if I could share this kind of blibbit where our industries are kind of similar, last August when the inventory started depleting, jumping off a cliff, and I would walk into an office and people would dodge to look at me because they were so I can't get you a home warranty. And it was like you could tell it was an uncomfortable conversation for them, or they felt bad or whatever. But the reality is that this market was changing. And so granted, how I weigh and measure how the market is going is my numbers with closed units. And so, and in talking with my industry competitors, as we are all friends, this was affecting all of us. And so the numbers were decreasing over the months. And so that was because the sellers weren't negotiating them or contributing. Buyers agents weren't asking for them on behalf of their clients. But what I found a trend in is that these buyers were buying these homes that were broken, per se. These, sellers weren't doing squat out there and fixing them. And they were moving into these homes, getting disgruntled because they felt they were purchasing a lemon. They were Googling home warranty companies.
Right.
However, with Choice, we have two different departments. We have a consumer department, which most normal people, when they Google, they go to choicehomewarranty.com. It's totally different department than what I work in. We have a second department called the real estate department. That is what I'm over top of here in Georgia. And so these people were doing it on their own, not really, consulting with their agents because it was post-closing, but they wanted a warranty, and then they would get that consumer product, which again is totally different than our real estate one. And then I wouldn't find out about it until maybe I was brought into a claim situation. And then when I'm brought into a claim situation with the consumer side of things, I don't have access to their files. So it's like, then I come to find out, I saw a trend that there were consumer orders. And I was like, okay, how can I change my business when my market was cooling off with my business? How can I get business? So it turned in a matter of to where I was like, hey, Matt, if you have any upcoming closings, do you mind introducing me to your client? And at least they know there's a local rep. So up until I figured that out and reinvented myself during that time, then I started seeing change. So I see in how I'm coaching the agents that I'm communicating with now that this market, yes, is cooling, but you can't do the same things today as you were doing a year ago. You have to reinvent yourself and find what's going to work and bring you income, revenue, working with clients in the next, until this kind of stabilizes. So again, just you have to change and be cognizant of changing.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And I appreciate the kind words, but I think you're right. I think every year there should be some reinvention because the only constant is change.
Like Madonna and Michael Jackson, they all morphed through the years, and they're huge celebrity,
Right.
So the celebrityism of realtors, you have to change and morph over time.
Well, and I love what you mentioned there too, because I think it is such a big education piece. And that's why I wanted to bring you in here to talk more about this, specifically to the realtors, because I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about home warranty. There's a lot of just unknown in general. We probably could do a better job of educating ourselves, and depending on folks like you to come and educate us on, is this the right home for a warranty? Is there a warranty for a new construction or a 70s ranch here in Sandy Springs? I think education is really important, and consumers have more information than they've ever had before, yet this is still a missing piece, I feel like.
I can't stress enough, and even though I am a rep of a particular company with Choice, however, I am a huge advocate of the 3-card rule. Sitting on an ethics committee for 2 years with the board of realtors that I was a part of when I was a realtor, I can't stress that enough. And then you may be a know-all of home warranty information, had one on your house and houses and family, and had home warranties. You've been doing real estate for 50 years and you know everything about home warranty. I understand that and I respect it. However, allow the opportunity for your client, your consumer, to choose and let you know which one to either put in your special steps and your contracts, or just be the concierge of information. Leave it to them. Let them make the decision. It's kind of like, okay, I'll use this as an example. When I was a realtor, I'll never forget this, because it was like, can I open my mouth wide enough and stick my big old size 9 foot in? Because I totally made an error. Is that I walked into a house showing one day. I was like, oh my gosh, this house is so ugly and it stinks so bad. But my client came in and loved it, but was so offended that I said that. And I was like, oh, I felt. So the same thing with I tie this into home warranty. It's like, you may have a certain opinion, realtor may have a certain opinion about home warranties or a particular company or this, that, and the other. But your client should have that opportunity to pick which company, what have you, what they want, and do their own research. These companies can change overnight, which how many of y'all have put the unsubscribe, in emails? You don't receive, up-to-date live information about a home warranty because you opted out. It could change, whether the pricing, the coverage can change literally overnight, and you not be aware of it. But yet you're out there telling your clients oh, it's going to cover everything. And oh my gosh, you got to, blah, blah. You got to reel back from that. And I'll be the first one to admit and raise my hand, say, I wanted to be the know-it-all Target, Super Walmart of information to my clients, and wanted to, just put out there to them all knowledge about everything instead of guiding them. and being that resource of guidance, like a concierge. So at least consider giving your client 2, 3, 4, 10 options of home warranties. Allow them to do the research. Give them, the point of contacts locally with the local reps or the 800 numbers, or better yet, the websites or apps. There's plenty of ways to guide them, but allow them. And you take on the responsibility of being that realtor, the real estate professional within the industry. You stick to your contracts. In putting it in the special stipulations, if it is part of the real estate transaction, you should be the one, you or the other co-oping agent, of controlling ordering. So it's getting to the correct department of the home warranty company of whatever's to be to order. You're not allowing your buyer client to order it, or the seller. You both as co-oping agents are taking responsibility on making sure the right products are ordered for your clients during the real estate transaction. But with us, with Choice, I have to say that even if your buyer is purchasing one outside of closing, to still make sure that there's a local rep that they can reach out to make sure that they're getting the correct product and the correct pricing that they need. So I can't stress that enough, because it is all about setting the right expectation. I do still have the homeowners, which the homeowners or the customers will be the first one to throw the realtor under the bus, because nothing is ever the homeowner's fault. And they will say, with conversations over 8-9 years of being in this business, is that, well, the agent told me this was all going to be covered, and you guys aren't covering this. Or there's just an incorrect expectations that are set. I hadn't looked at GAR forms, the Georgia Association of Forms, like in 8 years. Okay, so how can I go and tell your customer, like, well, you need to put this in your contract and try to negotiate that? And that's not my specialty, is knowing GAR contracts. Okay, so all I'm asking realtors is, like, reverse it on the other side, where allow us the opportunity in the home warranty world to educate your clients correctly. And, you can know about how to negotiate your contracts, and we'll negotiate the whole, and, the information about the home warranty to your clients.
Well, and so we're going to dig a little deeper into expectations, because I do want to speak to the consumer side of this as well. But I think that's really important. And what you just said, as far as the that's our job. Our whole job is expectation setting. What you can expect to pay, the timelines.
But I see what my observation is I do see a lot more liability on your guys' shoulders as to taking on being people pleasers and wanting to
100%. No, I could not
cure
agree with
all,
you.
magic potion it, just rub it a little bit harder. It's just, there should be more of a release in the liability on your shoulders. It doesn't make you all look more unprofessional. It looks more professional when they're guided the right direction.
100%.
Even as trivial as stuff as home warranty.
No, well, I tell my clients, and this is maybe a best practice that we can take out of this, set the right expectations, but then part B or part 2 of this is, I just say I know enough to be dangerous about home warranties. However, fortunately for you as my client, we have great resources within our network here. And you got to call Keri, you got to call our other folks that know what this stuff covers, that they can set the expectations for you. They can help you navigate and make the right decision, so that we can fill these contracts out. Because to me, the expectation setting leads to when I'm able to pass a client to you or refer a client to you, I'm adding value. I'm not setting the wrong expectation. I'm also not giving them the improper information, because I think you're so right. And a lot of new agents probably don't realize that, I don't know, let me get the answer for you, is actually one of the best answers you can give, because it builds trust, but it also gets them the right information, which is ultimately the goal. So, well,
consider the newer agents that got licensed during pandemic, 2020, 21. It's like that meme that had went out. It's whatever it said. But anyways, okay, this is what price reductions looks like. Okay. So, again, with home warranty being inserted, because those newer agents don't understand what the market was like when it was a normalized market, or 10 years ago in the other recession, as to every contract that you would write or offer you would write, you would insert that special stipulation, seller to provide a home warranty not to exceed X amount of dollars, for 1 year from the date of closing. And they don't know that that special stip exists. Now that we're normalizing with this market, to get better prepared and inserting that on every single offer you submit, because you never know what you can get until you ask. Sure. So, but it's most definitely in the GAR contract special stip area. Don't know the number of it, but it is in there.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. So let's shift gears as far as expectations for consumers, for our clients out there, and for some customers or people that are just looking to buy real estate in like the next couple of years here. I want to kind of divide this up. Let's talk directly to them as far as that expectation setting, because I think a lot of what has been published, mostly by real estate agents and people in our profession, is that it does cover everything. Well, we all know that's not true at the end of the day. If you go read every word of that fine print,
it doesn't cover excuses. It doesn't cover everything.
Right. There's a reason we have
assumptions.
Insurance. Yeah. Well, there's a reason we have insurance too. Like there's a problem, there's a solution to everything, I believe. And so talking to the consumers, as far as setting expectations, let's say someone, this year, 2023, is now looking to buy a home. And they're like, I've heard about home warranties. I don't really understand what the difference between that and homeowners insurance or, any of this is. Mm-hmm. If you had to just kind of boil it all down to what is a home warranty, who's the perfect person for a home warranty?
Sure.
Without saying everyone, of course. I know that's a challenge. No, I'm just kidding.
Home warranty is a service agreement for the systems and appliances located within the home and that failed due to keywords, normal wear and tear.
Right.
It is what I like to how I like to explain it to regular consumers is that home warranty is like a coupon. Mm-hmm. If you opened up a Sunday newspaper and saw a Macy's 75% off coupon, you cut it out, take it to Macy's. You start gathering up some clothes and some shoes and some jewelry. You take it up to the register, and the register lady's like, the Ralph Lauren shirt's not on sale, and your shoes are only 15% off, not 75% off, and jewelry is 10%. So you start finding out that small fine print that you couldn't really see in the newspaper that is not a part of that or applicable to that 75% off coupon. You start finding out, and that's essentially how the home warranty works and operates, is that we don't know as a company if something's going to be covered or not until a licensed technician comes out to further evaluate. Just because there's so many different variables within a home with all these components and moving mechanicals that can go wrong, that can possibly be covered versus maybe not. So it's really, even on my own personal home, it's, some things have popped up, and I'm even, been in this business where I'm like, oh, I should have known that was not, but it was something that I couldn't diagnose myself to figure out if it was going to be covered or not, but at least it's being evaluated. But a perfect candidate would be a homeowner who likes to save money. With all of these home warranty companies, we're all different. And there's different processes, different guidelines, procedures, and it's up to the homeowner to understand that third-party involvement on repairs or replacements, the small fine print per se, because every one of those home warranty companies are different. So for somebody who likes to save money, who doesn't mind or would like to go through a process with a third-party involvement, home warranties might be for them. All too often, somebody who doesn't, I'm trying to think of a way to put this.
Someone like me that's not handy?
I will say, being that it's like a coupon, money still has to be spent with any sort of repairs, replacement. Again, lots of different asterisks when I say that. Yeah. So there have been times to where a homeowner may not have much of a savings account, and so that is why they got a home warranty. However, there may be things that the homeowner does need to pay for, and so I would just educate your buyer clients that yes, you are buying an older home. You may want to consider putting a little, even though we're getting home warranty, you may want to consider, coaching them, like putting X amount of dollars or so much money back into a savings account for things that may pop up that may not be covered under the home warranty. They still need that extra nesting finances to, it's home ownership.
No, sure. So, well, and I think that's the biggest we'll just go ahead and say this out loud. If no one has said to you yet, as a buyer of real estate things, that there is more risk, but also more reward, that there's going to be things that happen, whether it's a brand new home or a 50-year-old home here in Atlanta, like things are going to happen.
Yep.
And that's why we have insurance. That's why we have home warranties. That's why we have all the things that we do. No one can ever predict what's going to happen, but at the same time, you do want some sort of protection. And, there's not one thing, one silver bullet that can address all of this, unfortunately. But, I'm sure there's people out there that would probably say, when we went and bought a home, it cost us a lot more than we thought because of an HVAC, an electrical issue, a plumbing issue that we had no idea about when we did our inspection. It was behind wall. I mean, it's just inevitable, right? Like it's bound to happen. So if no one said that, let's just say that out loud. It's going to cost you more money than the closing costs and your mortgage and your taxes and your interest every single month. There are just things that come up, and it's unfortunate, but you try to do your due diligence and understand kind of what you're getting into. And that's why you hire a licensed professional to help you navigate all of this. But I do want to kind of just go back a little more towards the realtor side here and for buyers too. I mean, I think this could actually be beneficial to both groups here. If for the realtors first, how do they use home warranties? You mentioned earlier, like using that special stipulation, because you just don't know what you're going to get until you ask. The answer is always no until you ask, right? So if we put the special stipulation in there, is there anything else that we can do to win more deals on the buyer side or even on the seller side? I mean, should we be offering to our sellers that, maybe we put a home warranty on here to attract better qualified buyers, but also people that appreciate, what that does for them?
I have my left hand and my right hand. Okay, so buyers and sellers are two separate. Okay, so seller-wise with this cooling off market that we're doing, if you're an agent going in with your listing appointments and listing homes and not having a conversation with your seller right now about doing a seller's coverage during the listing period, possibly being open-minded about negotiating a home warranty to the buyer client and putting that in your marketing. Put it in your public remarks saying, seller, negotiable about providing a home warranty at closing, contact me for more information, however you guys phrase it on there. But I think my opinion is you should be. If I was back being an agent, every single listing would be doing a seller's coverage. I would be telling and talking to my sellers by saying, instead of reducing, it's your home's probably going to be on the market more than 72 hours. So just to prepare you, if it's on the market for a week or 30 days, or it may be on the market longer. Mm-hmm. So instead of you reducing your price, $5,000, $10,000 because of that older HVAC system, let's offer or be negotiable about providing a home warranty. For sure. It's working. Yep. It's in great working order. There's nothing wrong with it, but it prevents that buyer client coming in and trying to take advantage of you with, asking you to reduce your price $10,000, $15,000 or put in a brand new HVAC unit prior to closing. And so, you want to have those conversations with the seller client. If you are uncomfortable with it, reach out to me. I'm happy to script with you. Because when I was an agent, I didn't know how to talk about home warranties. I was scared to death to talk about them. I just slapped it on there on every listing. I'm like, because that's what the rep told us to do. And I was like, rule follower. Yeah. I was like, I'll do it. But, if you don't know about the seller's coverage during the listing period, again, reach out to me. I'm happy to further explain it. There's several companies that do offer it. So it's a great tool to have, but please don't go into your listing and saying it's free coverage. You don't have to pay for nothing. That's not setting the right expectation. No. And then on the left-hand side, your buyer clients, again, your buyer consultations, especially with this cooling off period. Hey, Mr. Buyer Client, if we are going to be submitting offers, here's a couple home warranty companies to choose from. Can you please look through these? Because more than likely when we submit an offer, I'd like to put that in the special stipulation and asking that seller client or seller person to contribute towards one at closing. If they contribute all of it, that's great, but they may only be willing to negotiate up to, like $300, which might pay for half of it. Are you willing to pay for the other half? So you start formulating a game plan with your buyer client. So is super important. Mm-hmm. And again, explaining to them that if by chance the seller's not willing to get it, but that is something they do want to get, absolutely they can get it. Yeah. You're happy as the agent to get get it ordered for them prior to closing or after closing or whatever. But, those would be the two situations that I would.
Well, and I love that too, because, as this market challenges more agents to get creative, to think outside the box a little bit more, like you said, half of it, just pay for half of it. Like that would be a huge win for a potential seller to sell their house at a price or within a time frame. And it could be a huge win for the buyer as well, to have it half paid for.
One other, if I don't say this, I'm going to forget.
I get it.
If you are doing a listing appointment and the home does have older systems and appliances, especially HVAC, recommend to your seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, did you ever get your HVAC serviced? No? Oh, well, let's go ahead and get it serviced. We have a clean bill of health to also submit to the buyer saying it was just serviced, it's clean, it's sparkly new, it's a shoe shine. It's, it's been done. And that way it gives the buyer better peace of mind.
For sure.
So,
For sure.
And they're not hiding anything because,
No,
sellers never hide anything. They never do.
Exactly.
They don't.
Awesome information. Well, Keri, so as far as agents and realtors partnering with home warranty folks, even lenders, I mean, all of this stuff, I feel like is equal, just different, right? How can we best partner with you, but also lead generation? Like you just mentioned, talking to our sellers about it, talking with our buyers about it before, kind of getting further down the road before getting there, right? Getting in the roadmap, if you will.
Well,
but what can we do as far as lead generation as it relates to this?
Sure. You mentioned roadmap. Okay, so kind of retracing your steps on that roadmap, going back to your basics in the beginning of that roadmap, and contacting your past clients. You may have to dig up files in the filing cabinet if you've been in the business for 25 years and you don't have them saved in an email, but to recontact your clients and reconnect. And a great conversation, because again, I can relate to where I'd be embarrassed to pick up the phone and be like, I didn't call Betty Sue from 15 years ago. Right. What do I say to her? But, using, if they're still living in the same home that you sold them to or were connecting them with years ago, use that as an in, like I'm touching base with you, and as your conversation is going, ask them, that their house is old or their systems and appliances by the time you sold them a new construction in 2005, it's actually an old house now, and older systems and appliances. So contact them. Have you ever thought about Betsy Sue having a home warranty? If so, here's some, names of companies, but with Choice, we do for non-real estate related, keeping extremely RESPA compliant, is that we do have a referral program with our real estate division when you guide your past clients or friends, family, neighbors directly to me as the local rep. Not the 800 number, not the website, but we have a program called Pronto. Anyways, it's $75 back to the agents with referring folks who do sign up. And that way their order is placed under your personal realtor portal. So if they do place claims or they, use their warranty, you're getting notifications. So it's another reason to stay top of mind with them and pick up the phone like, hey, how's everything going? So it's just a lead generating program that we have for you guys.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and I think that also, that extends the conversation, right? And we're all about conversation, creating opportunity from conversation, because we know the people that bought a house in the last 2.5 years probably not going to buy anytime soon. Now, it happens, but
you could wrap up the conversation with a good old Buffini. Oh, by the way, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell?
You don't know anyone, do you?
No, but you never know until you pick up that phone. Right. And if I may share my personal experience, it's not so much as to why I'm a rep of a home warranty company and why I'm not a realtor, but going through the last recession was extremely difficult. Being an independent, individual agent, I didn't work on a team. And so a lot of things that I know now, seeing all different types of cultures out there with different brokerages, different agents, different teams, individuals, I failed. I failed as a realtor. Like I didn't do the legwork. I didn't know how to run my business like a business when times got really tough. They were great before the recession. I mean, heck, 80/20s, like all this great, like business was good before the last recession. And, going through that dark time period and not being a specialist with foreclosures or short sales my business plummeted. And so I didn't reach out to my sphere of influence. I didn't, stay top of mind with people. I was afraid to ask for business. Now times started getting better a little bit after the recession, but I was worn out. I was burned out, but I loved the industry. I love being within real estate. I love, realtors, and I just love this industry. And so it was the opportunity that I was presented to come on this side of the fence, which I think I was just really out of my mind when I said yes. But that was my path where I needed to be guided to. And that's what I tell people now. I'm like almost in my 50s, and it's pretty much you guys are stuck with me as a warranty rep. So that's what I'm good at.
And if you're looking for a script, by the way, to reach out to your best sphere, it's hi, how are you? That's all you literally have to say. I've
been thinking about you.
Yeah, I mean,
I had a weird dream about you. You may cross a line with creepy on that one, but just.
That's great. I love that. Well, Keri, thank you so much. On episode 2 of this, we're going to go into the home warranty nightmare stories of we just closed, and then the next day our hot water heater shot through the roof of the house, and that's going to be episode 2 where we bring you back in.
That's going to be episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. To break that up into short.
Well, I really appreciate it again, and thank you for your time today, but also thank you for the information. Anything else that if people are curious, not just obviously they can go Google you and find more about your website and stuff, but any other resources or podcast books, anything else that you would recommend for people to kind of continue this thought of home warranties? How do I integrate them into my business, use it for lead generation, so on and so forth?
Sure. One thing, if you don't remember my name or the company I work with, I'm your warranty gal, and you can find it via hashtag. Is that the coolest thing ever? At the hashtag your warranty gal. But as far as with, I'm old school, my email, my phone number, chwpro.com is the website that all realtors, brokers should be going to. That's our pro realtor website. But I'm always happy to be here as a resource of information for you guys. So reach out anytime, preferably through text or phone number.
I love it. Well, thank you again for all the information. Really appreciate your time today.
Yep.
And thank you for listening. And if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, make sure that you do that. Also, leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you're gathering from this podcast, the information. Is it helpful? Is it insightful? Is it entertaining? Yeah, we'd just love to hear from you. Make sure you leave us a review. We'd really, really appreciate that. And we'll listen and hear you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Atlanta Realtors Rundown. Please subscribe, and for more information on how to get engaged, check us out at atlantarealtors.com. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode.